And we were late, and the car park, there's nothing. There was
Right.
not space except for one saying visiting police officer. So I said, we're visiting police officers. Quarter of an hour later, my name and address and registration came out. Oh, so he said nothing. Yes.
Right, welcome everyone to the Assets and Facilities Committee meeting, 19th of November, 2025. 24th of November. 24th, sorry. 24th. No, thank you. Right, declarations of interest.
Received.
None. Items requiring urgent attention. None. Freedom of Information Act. No. The Data Protection Act 2018. Mobile phones, please. Switched off. This meeting is being recorded, so please note that it's being recorded in live stream. By remaining in the room, you are deemed to consent to this. If you have concerns, please speak to the clerk before the meeting commences. And public participation, I don't think we have any, so. Right, so ready to go. Apologies for absence. No, we're all there, thank you. Declarations of interest? None. Minutes of the last meeting? 29th of the 9th? No, sorry. This.
I have a query. On the very penultimate item 347, recap from the new action points, we've got display cabinet, then bowling club, and I couldn't find any reference on the agenda or the minutes to what that might be about. I wondered whether it was a leftover or whether it didn't get recorded in the minutes as such. Because I remember a discussion we had about, I believe the bowling club wanted a display cabinet for all their trophies and bits and pieces.
I have no knowledge of anything to do with the bowling club and
No,
display cabinet.
The only thing I can think that might refer to is not display cabinet. I wasn't at the meeting, unfortunately, but I think it might be the power cabinet. Was it not?
No,
By the bowling club? No.
it's actual to replace the old display cabinet.
The display cabinet, the cabinet, the notice board. That's
That's right.
That's right. Bowling club. That's right.
Main bowling club, yeah.
That's right.
but again, I couldn't find it anywhere that we talked about it, so hence I didn't know what it was either, but it turns up as an action point, a new action point, that was all.
Just to be discussed during the meeting somewhere. I'd like to say I wasn't. Very much.
Okay, right.
I'll find out.
Understandable, isn't it?
Sorry, you know what I'm like.
Any other points from the agenda or the minutes, sorry?
Can I propose they think that's it? Please.
You've been to, I think.
Ah, sorry.
Colin,
Shall I say?
show of hands, please.
I love selling flowers. You should have a meeting.
Right. Next item on the agenda, town toilets. The old report from South Dock.
Well, as you can see, the first one has been delivered. And it's being, well, if you've been to the game, yeah. That's been delivered on the day it was due. They are now connecting everything up inside. We are looking to provide them a temporary power supply because National Grid won't be able to all about mid-December. Just for them to conclude their work, not to operate the toilet block. And Eastcliff will arrive this week. We thought it was going to be tomorrow, but maybe some question that it's Thursday or Friday now, depending on the lifting gear. That should arrive this week, which is as was planned. And then Point and Key Road before Christmas, with go live dates for the Den and Eastcliff in theory well, there is currently a water problem at East Cliff. In that South West Water won't let them use the old connection to the old toilets, which means they have to dig the road up and put traffic lights out. So that may not go live until this is East Cliff until mid-Jan. But they are pressing South West Water for a good reason why they won't permit that to happen. And thus far they have not received any response from South West Water. So we are pushing on that. Den is still due to go live on 23rd or thereabouts. We know of no on-site problems currently.
No.
Everything is proceeding.
We'll get a site visit this morning with our QS. Not architect, our building control guy, and then we'll be meeting as we're having now, weekly meetings with Automatic to review site progress and resolving issues as they arise. But they fit in to the top of the den on the solar panels on the top of the den now.
Things like that, they can't fit. They can't
In
ship
fact,
them
it comes
with that
as
as
a
a if they get blown off.
Yeah.
So the only thing that will be after it going live is the rainwater harvesting tank, which might not be working. That's to do just after Christmas. Doesn't affect the operation.
A question I was asked is that the finish, the final colour?
It is a pre-coloured render, yeah.
Yes.
So it's very close to the final colour. And then within the planning, there was a suggestion from planning that the pier side of it could be a space for a piece of community art. But we'll deal with that after the fact and see where we go. And once they've finished, we have some safety work to do between the upper den and the toilet block to stop anybody falling down. Which is not part of the health matter contract. We couldn't do anything about it until it's delivered because they can't touch, because relative to the up down carriage where the toilets over time will move. So I think it will be self-supporting. But yeah, I think all in all this morning was quite positive, stress free.
Thank you for that. You've got this question.
What's stress free? Oh, that was just that bit this morning. Still plenty of other stresses about it.
Any questions on that? No? I'll see you again then. Please start. That's
Right. Community units. So I believe the current TTC determination date is the 9th of December. We have applied written pressure and verbal pressure through portfolio holder that we do get a determination on that date. The last thing we need now is another 14 months in the planning process because it's quite frankly too late. They are still pushing back on the storage containers because they think it's going to generate so much traffic. Hey, I made great use of my time on Saturday between getting wet in the morning and then getting dry in the afternoon with the Christmas light switch on, and did a lot of digging. And found through various traffic sites. So for 10 storage containers, which we are proposing, the daily average traffic movement should be between 1 and 3 movements. So that's someone going in once, going in and out. It's 3 movements a day, and they're trying to say that is too much. But they will just put the icing on the cake for that. So for 10 storage containers, it's a planning irrelevance. Self-storage containers, I've got 2. I've got one at a place where there's 50. I've never seen any. You know, however, of course, there's also an alterations in the number of parking spaces, which is currently 21, plus the state, the new regime will have 15. So there'll actually be a reduction in traffic movements, arguably. So given those comments from our architect today, it will get them into planning. I am sure they will try and fund something else because for whatever reason, They don't wish it to go ahead. But I think that is the last outstanding technicality. All we need now is as much pressure as possible for Teambridge to determine it. And then we'll know one way or the other. Then we can either get on with it or not. And clearly the party, if it doesn't happen, Teambridge put a condition on us when they transferred the land, that's what we had to do with it. And if we fail to do that, then they would be destined for its return. And a vote come to freely. So it's not happening will be very impactful on lots of groups. Anyway, any pressure anybody bring to bear on TDC planning? Please do.
We found this thing, it's a government edict which came out in 2025, updated from 2019, about getting maximum use from scruffy bits of land, basically. And there are some very interesting phrases in that, I think, that add to our argument. It's largely directed at housing development, but I mean, the thing is clear that if there's not a lot else going on, planning authorities should be encouraged to make something else happen. I meant to bring it with me, but I got wardrobe failure. I couldn't get me coat on the jumper that I got.
All we can do is make our case to the planning officer, which of course is different again. This time, the same I've written to Neil Bailey, I've written to Ian Perry, not trying to influence the decision, but saying how you determine it on your programme date. Portfolio holder of Teambridge is also giving them a bit of a jigger.
I also, some weeks back, suggested what was going on, because as you know, I have a real issue with this change of conservation officer and change of their opinion, meaning that we have to start all over again and comply with the most recent imposed. And I was assured that if we push it again, it would be favourably considered, shall we say.
I don't know who told you that.
Well, I'm not giving you the name, but
No, no.
it was somebody I took to believe as having that power to indicate.
At the end of the day, the planning authority is an authority within an authority. Because they have to have this firewall between planning and the council. However, the planning department is managed by Teambridge District Council. How they let it be managed and function is entirely up to them. So, but I think we just need a decision now. I don't think there's any merit in going around again if this is rejected. But I just don't see what we can do. If you take the storage containers out, the community units are viable economically. It's not rocket science, any of this. But there is individuals within the town who oppose it, and there is an individual Teambridge district councillor who opposes it. But you would think, if it got to a planning committee, for example, they could override the planning officer on the grounds of community benefit. But if we could get it called in, which I'm not sure we can't call it in. This is our application. It's past 3 weeks from when it was submitted. And then you'd have to wait for a planning committee, so you could be into February. It just needs ending, and I'm sure when we see the cuts later, how long do you wait? You've been at it for a very long time. Anyway, let's keep fingers crossed that we get a decision on the line.
So, thank you for that.
Worst case scenario, if it is rejected, how long the lifespan of the current sort of community unit part?
Apparently, if it's rejected, then I would expect the land with the bowling club to go back to Teambridge. That would be up to Teambridge.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, a lot of hands.
Any more questions? Thank you for that. Does it fall back onto you again for replacements?
Probably both. Replacement CCTV. Yeah, so as we've said in previous meetings, until we've got the broadband services into all the new toilet blocks, we're not looking at any further enhancement of the existing cameras around town because we need those as hubs to fulfil. We are progressing the applications and we've got surveys this week for broadband services to be provided to the new toilet blocks. Once we've got that and we've configured and installed CCTV associated with the toilets, then we'll start to look at expanding the CCTV further through the town on those locations. So I have at the point, I'll do then, but more better than that probably is Littlebrook Street and Eastcliff where we've taken stuff up Launch Hill into the roads and through the park and things up there. So that'll be our next foray into CCTV expansion post toilet terminal.
Good. Any questions? I've just got what if, and I think I know the answer. It's still up to the police to ask you if they want to deploy camera positions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do they not think that? Or do you think something else?
No. I know that, and I've been telling the businesses specifically in Sunset Place and some obviously they can talk to the police and say that they want a camera deployed in that area for the disturbances that have been going on.
Yeah, and if they've been experiencing issues, then they should approach the police and the police will come to us and ask us to assist.
Okay, so thank you. That's not
Yeah. Equally, it's worth reinforcing, people ask us for information which gets declined because we can only respond to the police or to an insurance if our insurance claim.
Thank you.
Utilities, that's me again. Only to say, utilities are the issues we have with utilities providing services to the toilets in a timely manner. That really is part of the toilets project, not for nothing to do with this. Only to say in the new year we'll be looking to retender or requote our water provider because currently they have an idea that it's a good idea. It's not very well put, I know, but a good idea to give us 2 months, guess 2 months in advance what we should be paying them. And it ends up in a complete finance model when they give us, we give them a lot of money, and then in 2 months' time, next month, they give us back a lot of money when they get their user readings, and why they can't just bill us on, on what we're using. No idea. So we're going to be looking to change that in sort of January, February, March next year. But other than that, we still use our broker on a regular basis to quote. Though I have utilities people we need all the time. So, we understand that you're renewing next month. No, we're not. Still only for 2 years. So, yeah, we've had off. So we still believe we're getting very good service from our utility broker. And they're very responsive. There was we did manage to finally get the electric sorted out of the bowling club. It's not a new supplier that was put in, I think it put in there, but we did actually have an electrical engineer come last week, and they now have all their heating in place, and that's all sorted. So after many telephone calls and emails and things to try and get that resolved, but that's all dealt with and all sorted now. Hopefully just before the winter, before it gets too cold. Well, we did start getting cold last week.
And they're shut down.
And they shut, but they still use it for social events and stuff. So
Right, next one, workshop update.
We haven't had time to tender it yet. As soon as we do, we will. Christmas and be
hopefully it's
after Christmas.
once the toilet blocks are already working to move that on. Get that up and running.
Is that affected by 25,000, 60,000? Tender.
Yes.
So it's above 60.
Yes. Yeah. So we will either go to nominated people who wish to tender or put it on the government tend to find
Just
yourself.
like the site as it did.
We still have two options, but I'm not sure that the government tender finder site is the best. Because you don't have, you know, I mean, you look for the toilets, we only had 3 bids. We had 11 bids for the cleaning, only 3 to build. Everything on that. Really. We have some local contractors, some localish contractors in line.
Yeah.
But we get competitive bids, so but we'll come back to that after
That was
Christmas.
Any more questions? No.
No, no.
Thank you, Cliff. Right, on to performance space then. There you go. Yeah.
So, following verbal feedback from Cambridge, the half a traditional bandstand wasn't particularly favoured, mainly because the shaped roof from the other side, outside Smith's or whatever they're called now, would basically be a blank wall and block view of the triangles. So we had a bit of a look about and we found this. We got the other drawing, yeah, but you need to see pop the look back there. Well, the advantage of this is it doesn't need anything on the floor. I mean, clearly all the foundations are under.
Yeah.
So with a traditional style bandstand, you'd have had to have a step. And if you have a step, you have to have disabled access, which is a huge ramp. Whereas this is self-supporting 2 columns. This one is in Marlow, I think. I did ask our architect, could we put in an alternative application with a clear glass roof, and you can't. That would have to be a second application. So one could wait and see the conservation officer push back and then possibly make that some alternative suggestion. So of all the ones we've looked at, I would suggest if it's still the theory is that we get this through and pass, and then if there's any UK SPF money next year, we're in a position to proceed. Because the ridiculous situation this year with our UK SPF build, it was turned down by Teambridge because we didn't have time to get permission from Teambridge to A, put in a planning application and B, use their land, which I find is an absolute oxymoron.
Yes. Really?
Because it was possible if they did things in the statutory lead times. However, we are where we are, and that was refused because they were going to give 60,000 to 2 locations, and they've obviously decided those 2 chunks of 60,000 are going somewhere else. So if we want to bid, we need to be in a position, we've got all our permissions in place for middle of next year. So that if UK SPF comes through, is when it comes through, it will be very short notice and we'll have next to no time you have to have done it, spent it, and prove you've spent it by the end of March. What do you think?
I've got a question. If you want health and safety CDM regulations, how do you clean it? Because
Oh,
it was taller than that.
well, it's you can make it the size you want. That's just one that's been in that style.
And that's not. The 3.2 meters.
You could easily clean it with a bolting from behind the flag pump.
Well, see, my innate suspicion would be that with all the birds that roost down there,
That's why we went for the rainbow as opposed to clear. Because if you go for clear, you'll see this. Whereas if you go for the rainbow, you
ticks lots of boxes.
well indeed.
I
And the
would be
cost.
interested in their comments on the how can I put it, the success of cleaning.
What's that?
Yeah.
Because all of us who have cars know how difficult it is to get off your car. And if it's going to be probably used as some sort of roost or at least perching point or strafing target even, I believe they do that, certainly seem to on the car. I just think that there may be difficulties with cleaning it in that area.
I wouldn't worry about cleaning it because the window cleaners have so many tools now so that they can clean without climbing because climbing is What's the word?
Working with hybrid relations.
Yes, it's, I was going to say deterrent, but deterrent not right.
Discouraged.
Discouraged.
You're supposed to use appropriate access equipment.
Yeah,
for
you should try and actually.
access.
And have you put no planning application for this yet?
No,
When you said about the clear.
no, it's ready to rock.
Right, okay.
So it's the simple answer is, do we pursue this? Don't we pursue this? If we pursue it, if you want to go and look at others, then carry on. We don't have the capacity anymore to go around revisiting.
Can I do another question on that thing? Because where you've got the two struts, are you envisaging the sloping bit faces out towards?
No, the red bit would be against the flagpole.
Yes,
So that comes out from the flagpole.
so,
So the trench down the back.
well, I'm on a different tack now, it's wind. Because the triangle is
Yeah.
notorious for
But they
huge winds coming in from any direction you care to not want it to be.
it would be engineered for that. That's a building regulation.
So that would be taken in the spec to actually
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
it couldn't be uplifted and blown off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, ways to do
Unless you get 185 winds like that.
Well, you know, down there it can get very iffy
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's very unprotected, even though it is in front of a parade of houses. As I say, the wind tends to find gaps to come through, regardless of where the prevailing direction might be.
Either way, we're just looking for a.
Well, I think it's lovely.
If you want to pursue, if you don't,
It's construction cake.
Sorry,
I think it's hideous. I have to say, I think,
then
I am, you know, that's.
then knock it on the head.
Yeah.
That we have no capacity to start looking at other things,
Yeah.
and then you have to tell the traders it's not going to happen.
Well, the whole point is that we can chat about it whilst we're sitting here, isn't it? So that's the thing. So let's get back to that though, because I think it looks a bit monstrous if I'm honest. And it's a shame because it's how you're ever going to have that in keeping with the triangle and on the sides of the properties and
That's the conservation angle.
yeah, I get
They are
that.
the
I
one
get
pastiche, which
I
they
get
didn't
that.
like. When you have
I get that.
conservation.
But I
well, that's.
I get
the way
the city, if you had, I get,
Yeah.
I get if you were someone like Plymouth or Exeter, that's, you know, that type of structure would fit. But I'm not, yeah, I'm not convinced, I'm not sure that.
Doesn't have to be. I mean, that's 3 as you see from the plan, that's 3.2
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so you don't have to have it as high as, I guess.
well, you wouldn't, would
You
you?
wouldn't want it as high as that, because people, that's opposite doesn't happen. You know, it's,
I mean,
and I guess the scale of it, you can make it.
well, you'd make it, you'd have to make it smaller and.
It's got to fit within its surroundings, doesn't it? So,
It's
you know, it's
just,
got to be scaled to, you can't, just go put something in there to cover that whole of the pedestrian access and the triangle. Switch it on.
rainbow colours with it,
It's not rainbow though, it's rainbow.
no, I know, but it's a bit,
Sorry, it's almost like if black stones like on corners of the buildings, brown poles, it wouldn't look bad as well it does, because it does look like we just got some metal in. You know what I mean? It could do with like flagstones around the poles, just
it looks half finished.
yeah.
We don't want to mention it, sorry,
Been requested by traders so that you can be events.
They want a performance space,
I mean, it's been on the
which
agenda for a long time, hasn't it? About
So-
having something there for whether.
it started because UK Shared Prosperity Fund money, UKSP, has been about for a number of years under most governments. And every year by Tinbridge District Council, we were told it has to be market related. Put anything in that's not for a market, you won't get it. Now, that was a political decision. And at the very last minute last year, because that political influence had moved, it doesn't have to be market related anymore. It can, because we were putting other market infrastructure in, power supplies, that sort of thing. And that we ended up with redeployable CCTV. Wasn't our first choice, but it was the only thing we were in a position to bid for. So now we've reverted to where we were originally.
I get, yes.
Is the plan, will the flagpole itself move?
No,
So that's just gonna be in front of it,
no, behind
it?
the
Or on the-
downside.
The lower side. So this would be sloping up away from Wellington Street up towards,
Okay,
so where Wellington Street runs,
yeah,
that will still be in front of you. It will be right up against the flagpole. That's all.
no. So,
What about the Christmas tree? We have to reposition that.
Probably.
Yeah.
And you could reposition the flagpole if you wish,
Yeah.
or you could put that not where the flagpole is, you could put it where the stage goes.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Because that way you will not obstructing the flagpole, you're not obstructing the
Yeah.
Christmas tree.
Hmm.
And actually, if you take the bollards out, a transit van will still get out because it will go under.
Was that not one of the sort of implications that we would try and save the cost of buying in stage by having something under which performances could take place? Did I dream that?
No, that, I mean, it is, but it's negligible. The driver was this market drive and performance space.
was that the only choice that?
There are loads and loads of choices. What I'm saying is we don't have capacity currently to do what we need to do. And we've been around it twice. If you want to do it, then please do that, go away, take it away, do whatever. But officers simply don't have capacity to revisit it for the first proceeding.
If we look at power code, say, colour is what?
I mean, it's only that because it's stainless steel.
Yeah.
It could be timber blue.
Might tone in there.
I mean, that is literally just a picture of the existing one.
Looking at it in that
Somewhat.
it just looks unfinished, doesn't it? That's.
And if the roof wasn't, as they call it, multicoloured, I'd say.
So
That
that
might
might
be
be
a bit-
violet, a rainbow is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, so it's only using violet.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's still, as Kate said, in a new city, yes, it's not town, Tinmouth, maybe not. Find something more of a neutral colour, and I can appreciate what you're saying, about seeing bird nest. But that is eye catching, I think. It's-
I personally think that we need something with signs on.
I think you'll be in a world of planning pain, but carry on.
No, I think
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pushing back.
So,
And that will make your wig issue worse. Especially if you had not all the sides up, because it would be then, like a windside. I think the problem is throughout the multiple years of this, everybody wants something different.
I think I actually like that design. I think that design. I agree with you.
Well,
Perhaps in a big city, but perhaps it's something that Tinmouth needs, something like that. It's just that I can imagine a performer performing in that in the rain, shall we say, and the wind blows a bit, and it's.
But if they're performing in the rain, you won't have an audience.
well, I mean, the other thing, of course, if they're going to be performing under that, and you've got no sides and the roof is what it is, actually it's not much different to what you've already got at the moment. Because it's still an open structure. I mean, I
Famous people who are used to like or something, they need some objectives to they need it.
yeah,
You do like Christmas market, but because he goes behind it and stuff to, it's just to give that would give an element section at the back from whatever anyway, wouldn't it? You walk into the open space, I think it's the idea.
Have you a feeling that that will get past the plan?
You won't know until you try.
Well, as I said, if they got away with the pavilions in terms of something
Well,
in a conservation area and those disgraceful flats on top of the cinema.
Yeah.
All went through planning,
Yeah.
why wouldn't they actually, well, at least look at that as being something innovative, eye-catching, and actually if we could tie it in with the National COVID Remembrance Day next March.
I propose that we should get lunch.
What would you wish to do with the location? Do you want to put it where the stage was?
As opposed to.
Yes, I personally think it would go.
Yes, I think from an office, I think you're probably right. I think that's a better place. Because then the flagpole, stroke tree, whatever is unaffected.
Be interesting, I don't know whether there's that's in the side of the inside of that pole, whether that's a plate that you could have and our
Yeah, and
from because that would lend itself
you
back
probably had
because of the
a lighting bar or a sound bar.
at the top, and then have power provided through
Yeah.
the uplights, so you don't have to have lots of training needs there. It's all contained within that space. And that's better that side essentially because of the feed to the power.
Would it destroy its obvious charm, really, I think, but if they put some hooks on it where we could attach tarpaulins or something to try and protect it from elements.
What on a pair of use basis?
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Oh, no.
No, I'm sure you could incorporate something. You'd have to have weighted buttons. Yeah, you could have almost what you would call gazebo size.
You know,
Made to
like
fit that.
big hooks that you can lash on.
There's all kinds of things you can get to it.
So enclose it on three sides would be not a problem.
And give you an area behind that you have as a junction place or something for.
But again, you can screen off.
This is what you've got to do, is right? Every time you think you're going to put something on, who's going to do that?
Oh, yeah.
If it was a plain colour, I'd run with it, because I think that one, the multicoloredness, I really
Well,
think, I think actually that in the middle of the triangle, for me, I would say no. If it was plain colour, I would say yes. I think I can see
no reason why it can't be one of those colours
that,
or a different colour.
or I think that's me. I'm not as a seller. I can appreciate what you said. If you want clean, you see too much. You see all of the mess from the birds, but if it's all of the darker colours, then also the advantage is if you have one single dark colour, that might also provide some sort of protection from the sun when it's hot. It's just a thought, because also if you've got those colours coming down and you've got people working in it, that's going to be very difficult. Not that I'm doing performances, but you can imagine if you've got the sun coming through, you're going to have the different colours coming through, hitting it, which might be it's just a thought. The people performing.
Single paint colour, some blue maybe even on that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that could.
Yeah.
Which is the leading edge,
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
a blue paracoat.
Yeah.
At least it will look like it fits in at that point,
Yes. And then we can put our fishes on the side, or our endings on the side, should I say.
With minor details like that is the point where you get in a conversation with the conservation officer. Yeah. So, as long as the concept is agreed by them, if they then, want minor tweaks, they will discuss those and not just, in theory, they will discuss those, not just reject. So,
I think past experience we've only had lots of questions. Probably one after, not all at the same time.
sequentially. God forbid, tree erosion.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I propose that we.
So, as per that, but in Tibet blue and located where the bollards are.
And did you say to the blue on the side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That won't interfere with the shops over that side, though, will it? Well, I just thought I'd mention it.
Well, to be fair, the beauty of it is because you just have the two legs, it's not a solid structure, so really, it shouldn't interfere with much wherever you. And you might not get planning, and even if we got planning, you've either got to find the budget or wait for UK SPF money,
How much is a planning application?
about 1,500 plus architect's fees. To build one of those is 90,000.
90,000.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake.
The construction industry is in a different place.
So you're looking at 100 grand.
Yeah, which is why, you know, we as a punt, put that in to UK SPF, to bid for 60,000. Because that was what was on offer. And like I say, they said we won't get permission from Singles in time. So you obviously.
Think. I was just saying that.
I was just thinking about shapes, but it would mean going back to the architects and putting the roof in different shapes. So don't worry about
Well,
it.
the way we've done this is we found one, gone to the company who've made that one,
Yeah.
and said, can you supply us all the drawings, which they have, which we can supply to our architect, and how much? So that was the information we needed for the UK SPF.
So it's the cheapest way of doing it. Yeah.
One would hope.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah.
Second,
Yeah, thank you, man. Show of hands in place.
I'm of saying.
Maybe what's up?
I'm
Aye.
Thanks.
Oh, it's news glass. Tanker. Steels.
Just have got an open budget. That 90,000, did you say that was stainless steel?
Yeah.
So if it's practical, did you need stainless steel or just? I'm just thinking.
I would be reluctant not to have stainless steel, given that you live by the sea.
Yeah. I've sold it all my life.
And when it gets scratched, it won't rust.
No.
Please let me into a secret that I misbelieved all my life. It's stainless steel, so there's no guarantee it won't stain. It's just stainless, and I'd always thought stainless steel meant it didn't stain.
This doesn't rust.
Yeah, well, but it does.
Should,
But they do.
should, yeah.
Depends on the grade.
Exactly, there's different grades of stainless.
You get some 316 stainless, that generally doesn't rust.
But I've
It costs a lot more.
hair cutting scissors that rust. And I'm sure they were stainless steel, but now I know why.
Okay.
Right. For that. Any action from Scotland?
I'm just gonna find out about the Den bullying case in the last.
Yes.
No, I know what that is.
Yeah,
It's the notice board.
it's just a noticeable. Yeah.
We talked about it at the last meeting.
Yeah.
The limited
Yeah.
electronic power supplies and things.
No, it was just a plain notice board to replace, because there's a frame with no notice board.
Probably out one bit here, because it's up here.
Sorry, we're on.
Well, I'm getting confused with different conversations.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's fine. No.
So no action. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still election. So he's done.
Anything else?
Can I just ask one question? Or we can probably better. I was gonna ask about the commissions with regards to seafront lighting. Is there been any update on that?
Realistically, won't be able to pursue that with any vigor until after Christmas. Kevin's response were that they are preparing a policy for attachments to posts, which we would have to wait for. And the tack I'm going to try is that because you've already done lots of work, and we not finish that off, because we got there was lots of other things I asked at the same time about CCTV and stuff, which can wait. But, you know, they've provided the power supplies, they spent a lot of money doing that. And what they want to do is utilise it. So, but I will pursue that with DCC, but we need to get to Christmas first.
If this isn't sort of changing horses midstream, as a quick win, is there any possibility of wrapping LEDs around?
You still got to get permission.
You still have to get permission.
You can't do anything to a lamppost without permission.
Would it be highways permission, or planning permission?
No, you'll need planning permission as a secondary, but the permission is from street lighting,
Yeah.
not highways. Presumably they're in highways, some,
Yeah.
but it's street lighting.
To say it's feasible and you can, and then planning permission to say.
Yes.
You are
So,
able to.
so the technicality would be with Devon. This is what we want to put on there. What is the wind loading? Blah 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 blah. Because right at the beginning, when they changed those lampposts, it was Devon, and the guy who did it, who has left, but his boss was there, who hasn't left. He and somebody.
Darren had.
Huge teams. Anyway, it was then that specified you cannot put festoons on these lampposts, and the ones in Torbay are not the same. They are different lampposts. But so I'll pick that up.
Thank you.
Well done then.
Yeah.
Everybody happy, right? The next meeting will be held on the 26th of January here at Bitton House, 3 sir. Thank you.